welcome back to my channel. My name is Rakshit Subramanya and today we are going to be learning about the topic distributed system models, and in this mainly I am going to be focusing on client and server based and peer-to-peer architectures in cloud computing. So now let's see. So first let's have an introduction to what it is about. So to understand what is cloud computing, generally how you know most of your functions that take place on your computer, such as you want to use a calculator, it happens here. You want to use any kind of app, it happens here. So those are what you call services, and sometimes what you say storage and many things which you do, it happens over here. So now what cloud computing is, that these services and the storage and the other features that you can access through the cloud, which means it doesn't exist on your computer, but it is somewhere else, but they are providing it to you. So that is cloud computing. So you're going to be using the cloud to compute either a storage or your services or anything related to that. So this is mainly divided into two types. So distributed system, so there's two type of architectures. So that is the first one, which is going to be client to server based model and peer to peer based model. So to understand now, so let's see. Actually it's better I show you the next slide. I'll show it to you. So now overview of an client to server architecture. So in to have a basic understanding, the client to server architecture is where you have one main hub, which is known as the server, and the multiple people that are the users connect to your server, and they are known as the clients. So the clients will request for a service or a storage or anything to the server, which is owned by another individual, and the server will grant that to them. This together, this process of client asking a server and the server responding to the client's request is what you call a client server based model in cloud computing. So here you can see the image of the tier 1, which is usually the clients, tier 2, which is the business logic, which is the basically the application servers, and tier 3 is your data resources, that is mainframe and resources management. So the resources required for that server to function and reply to the clients. So as you can see here in the PPT, in the client server model, clients request services and the servers provide those services. As I said, the architecture centralizes data and processes, and the processing and the making management easier, meaning because of the centralization of the data, the processing and management of data becomes very easy. Client server systems are commonly used in web application databases and enterprise environments. As I said, it used for many services, that is the web applications, and storage which comes into your database. Now some of the characteristics of client server architecture. So the client server systems typically have a clear division of roles between the clients and servers. So as I said, the clients are specifically people who ask or request for service from the cloud, while the servers, and the servers are the one who respond to the clients. So the scalability can be achieved more if it is worked on the servers. So the client's scalability doesn't matter over here. It is all of the processing, everything is done by the server. So scalability can be achieved by adding more servers to handle the increased load. That is what they are telling is, when you have multiple clients coming through, by increasing the number of servers, you will be able to control the amount of load and everything. So it is, the security measures are all centralized over here at the server, so it's going only through one route. So all the security measures are centralized, making it very simple, and it doesn't make it a bit too complex. So The advantages is that this centralized flow allows for easier maintenance and update services. It can efficiently handle large number of clients with proper load balancing by increasing the number of servers or decreasing when required. And the data consistency is easier to manage since it resides primarily on the server or something which is only connected to the server. Now the main disadvantages that comes when you are going to use a client to server architecture is that since it's a single point contact, that is your clients are connected to only the server, anything happens to the server and always all the services everything are shut down. So and one more thing is that security issues. If any security is lost on the server, you are going to lose all the client's information and everything. And the second one is known as the infrastructure can become bottlenecked with many client requests. That is, when multiple client requests at the same time, it will start overlapping with each other, and it will cause a lot of issues for these servers. So scaling may also require significant investment in server hardware and software. Since it's not the clients but only the server, you need to spend a lot of money on improving the hardware which comes to the server's hands. So now you know the client to server to client based architecture. Now we are going to see something which is generally used in these kinds of days, which is known as the peer-to-peer architecture. So as you can see the diagram, you see the difference between peer-to-peer and client-to-server. Here in client-to-server, you have three people connecting to a single server, whereas in peer-to-peer, you have three people connecting to each other. So in peer-to-peer model, each participant acts as both client and server. So the processing is distributed to different systems and they act as client as well as the server at the same time. So this decentralization allows for direct sharing of resources without any central authority. So the P2P, or which is known as the peer-to-peer architecture, are often used in file sharing, blockchain, and distributed computing. Most of the time. So some of the characters being which you usually see in these are that the peers communicate directly, which facilitates better resource sharing and collaboration compared to the client, where it has to client to server based model where it has to send each request respond multiple requests to the server, and the server will slowly respond to one of them like that. And since there is no centralization here, there is no risk of two bottlenecking, that is a lot of requests coming through, or even if one system collapses, you don't need to worry about the whole setup going off totally. And the P2P systems can dynamically adapt as peers join and leave the network. So it's automatically scalable as people join and keep leaving through your model. So the advantages being, as I said, it is more resilient, meaning even if one system fails to work here, that is not an issue because most of the other systems will be on, so you don't have that issue of any failing over here. And the resource sharing also leads to a lot of cost saving and improved utilization of the available assets rather than relying on only one storage. And the scalability is often more organic as new peers can join, so it's automatically scalable, you don't need to worry about it. As more people come, it scales up, it scales down, and you get more resources and like that. So what are the disadvantages of this peer-to-peer model? So data consistency and integrity can be challenged due to a lack of central control. So a consistent flow of data or integrity, meaning copies or any other things, are very difficult to detect because they will be coming from multiple sources, and there are chances security risks. A person can become a peer only to want to get into other system and such. There are issues, there are many securities that are built, but still you have these kinds of issues that arise. And the network performance can degrade if the peers are unable to or have a limited resources on their system. Imagine a person joins there whose storage is already full and his computer is not able to allocate any resources like that. So that will cause a lot of issues. So that is another disadvantage. So this was my basic understanding and explanation on this topic. So in final, a conclusion, the choices between we saw the choices between the client and peer-to-peer architecture. So you understood what they are, you understood their advantages, disadvantages, where their applications are, and as you can see there are some basic differences I have mentioned over here, which you can pause the video and go through. So I hope you like this video. Thank you.